All right, 63. Some of these sorts of jesting I will now run over, but you are aware that that is the most common kind of joke when we expect one thing and another is said. In which case, our own disappointed expectation makes us laugh. But if something of and the ambiguous is thrown in with it, the wit is heightened, as in Naevius, a man seems to be moved with compassion, who, seeing another that was sentenced for debt, being led away, inquires for how much is he adjudged. If he answered 1,000 sestertii. If he had then added only you may take him away, it would have been a species of joke that takes you by surprise. But as he said, I add no more, you may take him away, thus introducing the ambiguous, another kind of jest, the repartee, as it seems to me, is rendered witty in the highest degree. Such equivocation is most happy when in any dispute a word is caught from your adversary, and thence something severe is turned upon the very person who gave the provocation, as by Catullus upon Philippus. But as there are several sorts of ambiguity with regard to which accurate study is necessary, we should be attentive and on the watch for words, and thus, though we may avoid frigid witticisms, for we must be cautious that a jest is not thought far-fetched, we shall hit upon many acute sayings. Another kind is that which consists in a slight change in a word, which, when produced by the alteration of a letter, the Greeks call a Greek word, as Cato called noblior moblior, or as when he had said to a certain person, imus deambulatum, and the other asked, quid opus fut de? Cato rejoined, immovere quid opus fut de te. Or that repartee of the same Cato, if you are both adverse and averse in your shameless practices. The interpretation of a name also has wit in it when you assign a ridiculous reason why a person is so called. As I lately said of Numius, who distributed money at elections, that he had found a name in the Campus Martius, as Neoptolemus found one at Troy. 64. All such jokes lie in a single word. Often to a verse is humorously introduced, either just as it is, or with some little alteration, or some part of a verse, as Statius said to Scarus when in a violent passion, whence some say, Crassius, that your law on citizenship had its rise. Hush, silence, what is all this noise? Have you, who neither have a father nor a mother, such confidence? Away with all that pride. In the case of Callias, that joke of yours, Antonius, was assuredly of advantage to your cause. When appearing as a witness, he had admitted that a great deal of money had gone from him, and as he had a son who was a man of pleasures, you, as he was going away, said, see yon the old man, touched for 30 mine. To the same purpose, proverbs may be applied, as in a joke of Scipio, when Asellus was boasting that while he had served in the army, he had marched through all the provinces, drive an ass, etc. Such jokes as they cannot, if any change is made in the words of them, retain the same grace, are necessarily considered as turning not on the matter, but on the mere expression. There is also a kind of joke, not at all absurd, which lies in expression when you seem to understand a thing literally and not in its obvious meaning, in which kind it was that Tutor, the old mimic and exceedingly laughable actor, exclusively distinguished himself. But I have nothing to do with actors. I only wish this kind of jesting to be illustrated by some notable example. Of this kind was your answer lately, Crassius, to one who asked you whether he should be troublesome if he came to you some time before it was light, and you said you will not be troublesome. When he rejoined, you will order yourself to be awake then, to which you replied, surely I said that you would not be troublesome. Of the same sort was that old joke which they say that Marcus Scipio Malganunesius made when he had to report from his century that Acidianus was voted consul, and the officer cried out, "Declare as to Lucius Manlius." He said, "I declare him to be a worthy man and an excellent member of the Commonwealth." The answer of Lucius Porcius Nasicia to Cato the censor was humorous enough when Cato said to him, "Are you truly satisfied that you have taken a wife?" "No, indeed," replied Nasicia, "I am not truly satisfied." Such jests are insipid or witty only when another answer is expected, for our surprise, as before observed, naturally amuses us. And thus, when we are deceived, as it were, in our expectation, we laugh. There's nothing worse than trying to explain humor.